Antediluvian civilizations, the world, before the Great Flood. Antediluvian civilizations refer to the societies that lived before the Great Flood, as depicted in many religious books, primarily the Bible. This age is generally depicted as a time of incredible human lifespan, scientific achievements, and sophisticated social systems, coupled with moral decay and corruption. Understanding these ancient cultures provides insight into humanity's early origins and the tales that inspired future civilizations. In this video, we will explore 7 key points that characterize the world before the flood. Number 7. Historical context. An important period of biblical history, the Antediluvian period, or before the deluge, is mostly covered in the book of Genesis. The creation story, which starts this era, describes how God painstakingly creates the land, plants, animals, and people before creating Adam and Eve. They first reside in the Garden of Eden, a paradise marked by plenty and closeness to God. However, the sin of eating from the tree of knowledge upends this paradise, resulting in their banishment and a change in how people relate to God. The story emphasizes a slow moral deterioration. As centuries go by, although mankind grows, it increasingly deviates from God's commands. The Lord saw that the wickedness of man was extensive in the earth, and that every imagination of the thoughts of his heart was only evil continuously, according to Genesis 6:5, which is a moving statement. This moral deterioration prepares the way for God's choice to purify the planet by means of a devastating flood, a divine reaction to widespread corruption that raises important issues regarding mercy, justice, and human nature. In the end, God's covenant with Noah following the flood represents hope for humanity's future, and the Antediluvian story provides a theological framework for comprehending sin and salvation. Number 6. Geographical location. Antediluvian civilizations are frequently associated with Mesopotamia, specifically the area between the Tigris and Euphrates rivers, which is known as the cradle of civilization. Because of the rich alluvial plains created by the silt deposited by these rivers, which offered fertile ground perfect for cultivation, this area has historical significance. Around 10,000 BCE, this region was one of the first to methodically conduct agriculture according to archaeological data. Early settlers were able to grow crops like barley and wheat in an otherwise arid environment because of the invention of irrigation technology. This verdant region is typically where the biblical Garden of Eden is located, signifying both a material paradise and humanity's spiritual origin. Number 5. Technological advancements. Significant technological advances are said to have been accomplished by antediluvian civilizations, laying the groundwork for later cultures. Biblical writings do not go into great detail about many technologies, but archaeologists use discoveries from later Mesopotamian societies to make deductions. Advanced agricultural techniques, such as the use of metal or wooden plows for plowing, were among the innovations that made farming more efficient and able to support bigger populations. By using irrigation systems, these societies were able to successfully grow crops in desert areas, increasing food supply and fostering community stability. Furthermore, there is evidence that these early civilizations were involved in metallurgy. They probably learned how to make tools and weapons out of copper or bronze, which required sophisticated understanding of mining and metallurgical processes. It is implied that knowledge may be gathered throughout generations without disruption or loss by the lengthy lifespans assigned to individuals like as Methuselah, who is claimed to have lived 969 years. An atmosphere that was favorable to creativity and the development of society would have been created by this knowledge preservation. Additionally, these technological advancements made it easier for communities to trade and communicate. As agricultural surpluses increased, so did the prospects for both cultural and economic integration. Number 4. Population growth. According to the genealogies found in Genesis, people had incredibly long lives during the Antediluvian period, with many apparently lasting for several hundred years. Population growth would have been significantly impacted by this extraordinary longevity. Households might have produced many children over many generations without having their numbers much impacted by mortality rates. The human population may have reached millions by the time of Noah and the flood, according to estimates based on biblical genealogy. As a result, varied groups with different cultures, dialects, and customs emerged throughout different locations. More intricate social structures were required as a result of this demographic growth. Larger populations necessitate organized government in order to efficiently manage resources and resolve disputes amongst progressively more diverse groupings. Number 3. Cultural developments. The vast cultural advancements of the antediluvian period provided the crucial foundation for later civilizations. Notable individuals like Jubal and Tubal-Cain, who are credited with advances in music and metallurgy respectively, are mentioned in the Bible. This suggests that the civilization was not only focused on survival, but also on artistic and crafty expression. A deeper human desire for expression through music as a method of intergenerational storytelling and community connection is reflected in Jubal's association with musical instruments, which implies a respect for art that goes beyond just survival. Similar to this, Tubal-Cain's contributions demonstrate how technological innovation shapes civilization's material culture. His abilities would have been essential for producing instruments required for construction, agriculture, and warfare, all of which made substantial contributions to the advancement of society. In addition, early forms of governance probably developed when societies got larger. As a result of population growth, leaders would have developed to efficiently manage resources and arbitrate conflicts between various populations. However, these developments came with moral difficulties. As societies developed culturally and technologically, they also encountered temptations that resulted in moral decay, a motif that is prevalent in both historical narratives and religious doctrine. Number 2. Moral decline and divine judgment. The emphasis on moral decay preceding the flood, which is a recurring topic in religious teachings on ethics and accountability worldwide, is one of the antediluvian narrative's defining characteristics. According to the biblical text, human wickedness had escalated to previously unheard-of proportions. Violence erupted on the planet, and every human thought was characterized as wicked. This widespread wickedness severely saddened God, bringing to light his dissatisfaction with his creation, and led him to choose a drastic solution: purifying the earth with a massive flood, sparing only Noah, a righteous man, and his family from annihilation. Number 1. Flood myths across cultures. The idea of a great flood is not exclusive to Judeo-Christian traditions. It is present in many different forms in many civilizations around the world, implying a universal human experience or recollection of devastating floods throughout history that cuts beyond national borders. Similar flood stories involving gods deciding to wipe out humanity because of its immorality are, for example, found in ancient Mesopotamian texts like the Epic of Gilgamesh. In terms of themes of survival against divine wrath or judgment for moral failings, comparisons can be made between Noah's Ark and Utnapishtim's Ark, the Survivor. Such myths frequently include elements like selected survivors who use boats or arks to preserve life, reflecting humanity's attempts throughout history to comprehend the effects of natural disasters on civilization, while highlighting themes related to both direct survival and indirect moral lessons about divine intervention during times when human actions divert people from the moral paths established by their respective gods or deities. The fact that these flood legends are so widely told emphasizes their importance in human culture. Not only do they serve as morality lessons, but they also shed light on how ancient peoples perceived their relationship to both divinity and nature. These lines offer a thorough summary of antediluvian civilizations and demonstrate their intricacy within historical accounts and cultural contexts that influence them over time, culminating in current understandings of those events that are still relevant now. Thanks for watching our video, and don't forget to subscribe.